Welcome to another episode of Inspired Content, where we're reading two short stories, one from the world's best science fiction of 1969, and one from A Wizard's Dozen. These two stories are A Visit to Cleveland General and Lost Soul. A Visit to Cleveland General. It was so kind of absurd a premise that I couldn't really suspend the disbelief in it well enough to really enjoy it. It's just some kind of paranoid delusion of the evils of healthcare or something like that. It just seemed too much. And Lost Soul, it's sort of like any other story of somebody who gets on the wrong side of a fey spirit. It's some guy gets obsessed with a fairy girl and she's tempting him, tricks him, he gets frustrated and angry and attacks her and then ends up paying for it. It's almost like cliche at this point. But the ideas they inspired. A character that takes memory pills and visits a hospital to write about a topic where they are able to write an empathetic story about patients undergoing recovery from attacks or mourning lost loved ones. And they're able to do that writing because they can remember their own experiences with similar situations in their own life. But some situation occurs where it becomes clear that those aren't their memories. Those are memories from their memory pills. And they're being implanted from the same patients they're encountering with, who happen to be their victims. This is Rehabilitation. A person who stole somebody's ID and was involved in an accident to a degree where they had to be reconstructed, and they begin to doubt they are pretending. They start to wonder if they are actually that person who just has lost their sense of self enough to imagine that there's somebody else pretending to be this person? Can somebody who is pretending and is so damaged that they can't be anybody else, are they the person they were pretending to be now? Especially if they're not sure anymore? If you could make them doubt who they were? A man loses his job in a future where getting jobs and keeping jobs involve personality tests and regular counseling to be checked up on. And so he's lost his job and he's looking for a new job. And so he goes through the personality tests for the new job, and when he gets a new job, he then starts to go to his counseling sessions, but he's talking about himself like he is the person who had that job before him. And this is because identity has become something given to you, and it's shaped by the role you fill. One Philip goes away, and a new Philip fills a Philip-shaped hole. And that's how you get the next person to take the job. You make them out of the next person you hire. A man obsessed with a mysterious woman who always seems to catch his attention and distract him from his tasks. And in the end, he reveals that it's been the other way around, where the man was playing the rube to distract her enough for his accomplice to steal her treasure. Fairy trying to capture and drown a boy and repeatedly rebuffed from trying to seduce him. And increasingly, this fairy gets frustrated, only to discover eventually that she's been trying to seduce a girl, trying to pass as a boy, to mix with a gang of thieves that she was preying on before. Because it's the only opportunity she has to make a way to survive for herself in the world. She just happens to have caught the attention of this fairy who wants to seduce another boy, but it's not quite working out the way they think it should. In the story, there's I guess some fae girl and a boy who's obsessed with her, who runs a farm where there is a homely girl who checks in on him and cares about him. And he starts to be kind of abusive and not care about the person who checks in on him in favor of chasing after this sort of phantasm girl. And I felt like the story could have benefited from the idea that perhaps the two are the same person. And I feel like in a story like this, it's time we kind of saw one where he pushes her away and he ends up without either side of her, because he can't see past what he's chasing to realize that it's part of a person that he already has potential chance with. In his chase, he loses the thing he could have had. I think that would be, fair. Alright, so those are the ideas I got from this one. Hopefully there's some inspiration in there for you, and I'll see you for the next episode.